If you can't tell where I am, that's because I'm in an undisclosed location, which is a treasure trove of lycra, spandex, lace, all of the types of fabric that you need to make dance costumes. And I have the privilege and the honor to be able to indulge in all of these fabrics. I used to work for a woman who used to make dance costumes, and she has allowed me to now browse and purchase fabric from her since she has retired. There we go. So I wanted to take you on the journey of making all of these costumes. I've started to make some short videos on the sketching process and what I do. What I can show you is the fabric selection process, as well as making the costumes. And then I can show you the final clips once all of the costumes are done at the end and you can see the final result. But until then, we are going to be focusing on fabric selection. So all over here we have all of the lycras that I can choose from, and then all the way back there we have all of the different laces and meshes and velvets and all of the beautiful stuff that is just so nice to work with. So I'm going to start by picking out some fabric and start cutting it up, and I will share my haul when we get home. So I'm back home with all the fabrics that I'm going to use. I am going to start out my costume making process with just doing a handful. So I have 5 costumes that I have to make, and one is very urgent. They are going to be competing in October, which means that I have to finish it in 2 weeks. This one has a lot of different types of fabrics. A beige colored lycra, a beige layer of mesh, beautiful metallic blue, a silver mesh layer, the sequined mesh, as well as just some white. This is actually a very good match. It's sometimes hard to find the perfect match with mesh and with lycra, so I was very lucky to find these two. I have this holographic pinstripe, beautiful purple velvet, and the last bit of fabric that I've purchased is this beautiful lilac pear. So I have a lilac mesh. I think this is actually a jersey cotton. It is a little plain. So what I'm going to do is add over top the lace. I'm going to add even more on top by adding crystals and rhinestones. This is just going to be such a beautiful pairing to work with. That is everything that I have today. I am super excited to work on all of these costumes. So I thought I was going to end the video here, but I decided to turn this video into something more than just a fabric haul, and I kind of wanted to give an overview of what my plans are for the next few months. So I've decided to make a monthly vlog going through all of the steps and construction of making all of these costumes. Yes, there are many more to come. I'd also love to answer some questions that you have for me in these videos, so if you have anything that you have ever wanted to ask me or anything about these costumes or future projects aside from these, let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them in a future video. I've been blessed with the opportunity to do this, and I love to share the whole process because I find that sometimes with these types of jobs there is so much beauty and time being put into that final result that I think all of this work should be acknowledged. Making foundational garments and adding the artistry on top are also important to the process of this costume that I'm making. The theme for this one is ice melting into water. A little abstract, but that's what I like. I decided to use this metallic blue to shape the fabric into these curves and waves that will then replicate water. This costume is priority, seeing as she competes this solo today as of posting this video. For this purple costume that I'm making, I really love the fabric that I've chosen. The lilac with the lace on top is just so beautiful and soft. I work on multiple costumes at once, it just makes everything go a little bit faster. The one thing that I do need to work on though is my thread management, because changing thread in and out is very annoying, especially when you don't have the best of eyes, and threading a needle is torture. Now I'm working on the overdress for the ice melting costume, and this will be a reveal. So this dress will be worn over top of the base layer, and then eventually will be taken off to reveal the water. I wanted to add a cutout for the back so that I stitched around with my zigzag stitch. Mostly everything that I'm using here is a stretch stitch, so zigzag stitch and a serger that will help these garments stretch and move with the dancer. It is very important. I just wanted to add some sharp edges, and I'm adding all these little pieces underneath the first layer to incorporate movement to the skirt. A few of these garments are just bases that I'm making for the first try-on, and then I will be able to embellish further once I know that the fit is correct. The teal costume that I'm making here is very basic as of right now, but I assure you that there will be much more embellishment and things being done to this once the first fitting is done. I started working on this holographic pinstripe one, and this is very different from the other costumes that I'm making in this batch, but I just love having that variety. It just makes everything so interesting. So a lot of cutouts that I have to be very careful not to cut through the mesh as well. I also wanted to add in a zipper because I don't think I've ever added a zipper into a costume before, and I felt like this was the right time and place for me to do it. For this beautiful purple velvet, I love this color and this costume so much. One thing that is very difficult when you are working with velvet is just making sure that the direction of the velvet, I'll say, is in the correct order, because you don't want half of your skirt being upside down and not shining the right way. It just doesn't look right. I added a basket weave with the straps at the back, and then I did a top stitch over all of the seams in the front. It just makes it look so nice. Going back to the ice dress and just making some straps and then making some mesh sleeves to go over top. I'm going to be airbrushing them, and this is my first time ever airbrushing, so trial and error, but I think that I did get the gradient right. I just wish that the paint didn't make the mesh so static and stiff, but that's all a learning process, and I'm going to try to fix that in the future. Using my regular acrylic paint to paint on the other details of the waves on the body just makes it look so artistic and beautiful. I love dressing up my dress form and just adding all those extra little details in, like rhinestones and icicles onto the back. I think that all the hard work that I put into it has really paid off. I love the different textures that everything has together, as well as the reveal of all of the ocean waves. I also made all of the sleeves. Insert your finger before. Transition from white into skin color. This is just gonna look really pretty on. Is just go from the top and pull it off like a pair of pantyhose or something. Surprisingly, this didn't take me that long. A lot of just like the fabric manipulation and creating the arching waves, that did take a little bit of time just to figure it out, but overall I think that it turned out really nice. I added a bunch of hand-sewn ruffles all across the bottom edges of the waves to add for like the crashing waves, and then just again all the little like rhinestones and everything to add for more sparkle. So this costume is now completely done. I'm going to say goodbye to this costume and give it to the dancer tonight, so I'm very excited to have this one done. But that wasn't the only thing that I was working on this month, so let me show you. So I have some other costumes that are ready for their first try-on. So the first one that is pretty much done is this holographic unitard. So at the fitting, I just need to make sure that the hem of the shorts are all right, the sleeves are all right. I have them pinned to her arm length, but just to make sure. I'm just so happy with how the zipper came through. Wanted to try out a zipper, and very, very happy with how easy this one came together, which this fabric is just so nice to work with. And then after the try-on as well, I think I'm going to add some rhinestones across all the lines. Probably 90% done, so that is great. So the next one that I have done is this beautiful purple dress. So this one I think is probably 80% done. All I have to do is make sure that the straps are at the correct length for the back. These are just securing because it is such a low scooped back. You need some type of support. The only thing I need to finish for this one is attaching the shorts. I'm going to attach underneath and pin it and then sew it in place so that this dress will be a full one up, one down. Super, super nice. I'm very proud of this next one. There's something about working with velvet that it just is so luxurious. I added all of this top stitching detail. There is a slit on the side just for movement, and then these ties at the back are like a basket weave here, so when it's pulled tight you're going to see the shape of it, and I'm probably going to pin those in place to the mesh when she's wearing it just so that everything will lay nicely 100% of the time. So this one may look very basic right now. This is just a regular bodysuit with some mesh paneling at the back, but this along with a giant skirt are going to be covered with hand-painted flowers. Yeah, that's gonna take me a while. But the best way I can get through this stuff is just putting on a good movie and then just go into town. I also have to just make sure that the straps are correct in length before I finish those off, before I add in all the flowers. If you watched my video last year of making all the dance costumes, you saw that I made a giant tulle skirt with a ruffled gather at the bottom. It was so beautiful on stage. A pain in the butt to mend because if you know fabric, you know that tulle is very fragile, and every single time that it would be stepped on, it would rip. So to remedy that mistake that I made last time of making it out of tulle, as nice as the flow was, I made the exact same skirt but out of a mesh. A little bit more weight to it, but it still has all of the body and all of the movement in it. I did add a metallic layer under here just so it has a little bit more depth to it. This, as well as this, are going to be fully painted with flowers. So as much as these kind of look done, I have a lot of work to get on them. For the fitting, I just have to make up a test square with some little flowers that I'm going to hand paint to show what it's going to look like and get the go-ahead before I do all of that work. But after that's done, I'm good to go and ready to finish this one. I hope you like this video. I'm planning on doing some studio vlogs on the process of making this. I can't make an individual video on every single costume I'm making because I'm trying to make them as fast as I can, and the filming process does take me a lot longer. So I'm probably just going to take a vlog stance on the making of these and just kind of film little bits here and there and give my tips and tricks along the way, and that will probably be just like a once a month type thing. So if you like this video, be sure to subscribe. I also do a lot of other things. I love knitting, sewing, painting, just general crafting, as you can see. So my next video is going to be on a sewing pattern as well as using a thermal printer, which I am very excited for. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. She's going to be competing this very weekend, which is very, very early, so that meant that I had to get my butt in gear to get this done. Luckily, I did. Everything is finished, and now I can send it off. I'm gonna miss you. You were so pretty. You're gonna look great on stage. You got this.